most people went through their entire life in just one job or one career. That is changing for the new generation. So there are a lot of engineers who want to do engineering and want to do coding. They hate talking to people. They're probably better off doing our computer science program. But there are engineers like yourself who, after doing engineering, figure out I don't want to be 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Just talking in front of the computer screen. I need that human interaction. So for them, it is the good part is this MSBA program.
Find out what the industry partners are at that university. Who's coming to recruit? What companies are those? And then start attending the career fair.
What are some of the companies that your former students have gone to? What were some of them? At least in my time, 10 years ago, Big Four was like a big thing.
Yep.
Is it still a thing?
As a student, you are on a limited budget. And Chico provides a better lifestyle for the money. Your money goes a lot further in Chico, both in terms of rent and in terms of food, than it would go, say, in the Bay Area.
Okay, well, I'm Tom Wilder. I used to be a faculty member here, but I've retired from that, and now I'm full-time, part-time executive director of the SAP Hosting Center. So we're one of 5 global hosting centers that host SAP products for students to use in the classroom. A University Alliance program started in 1996. Chico State was picked as the first school to have SAP in it to start the Alliance program. Probably because of our proximity to Palo Alto and Palo Alto Labs, at that point a big SAP center. From there, we grew it to a point where we started hosting other schools. That happened in around 2000, 2001. Schools wanted to use the software but didn't want to host it themselves. So we found that we were good at hosting it. We were able to offer the services. SAP liked that model. That model grew. So now there's 5 global hosting centers, one at Chico, one at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, one in Magdeburg, Germany, one in Munich, Germany, and one in Beijing, China. So between those 5 global hosting centers, we support about 3,000 schools in their use of SAP in the classroom.
Nice. Okay, cool. And
So I'm Saurav Dada. I'm a professor of accounting, and I'm also the director of the accounting program, and we are in the Department of Information Systems, Finance and Accounting. And once we started this new major, MSBA, Master of Science in Business Analytics, so I'm the director of that program as well. And we're trying to build that program, and we're working through the curriculum.
Amazing. And I know there's like 2 main majors that I'm really interested in, because that's what my audience is really into. For context, I did my computer science major over here. But after first semester, I realized that I am more of a people person and a strategy person, not someone who can just sit and code. So I decided to switch career from computer science to product management and project management. I had opportunity to take some of the courses from business school and entrepreneurship class. I think the professor is retired, but I had 10 years ago, he had made us go through the whole startup process and all of it. And then I was also fortunate enough to go to Deloitte University for one of the case competition. So all of that led me to becoming a project manager and now senior product manager. And because that's what I talk about on my social media, people are naturally interested in business side of things as well. But they want something which is STEM oriented. So then they get extra 2 years of STEM extension. 2 majors that I know that are fall under this category. One is MBA Analytics, and then second one is MSBA, which is the one which we are starting. So maybe if you can briefly talk about what is MBA in analytics, and also what would be the career outcomes for those courses.
Okay, let me take that one.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. We have, within the business school, we have an MBA with a track in business analytics, and we are creating this new program of MS in business analytics. In addition, our School of Data Sciences and Computer Science has a program on data analytics as well. And hence there is the thing as to, hey, why do we have 3 programs when they're similar? At least the names are similar. So there are a lot of engineers who want to do engineering and want to do coding. They hate talking to people. They're probably better off doing our computer science program.
Right.
But there are engineers like yourself who, after doing engineering, figure out I don't want to be, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Just talking in front of the computer screen.
Yeah.
I need that human interaction.
Yeah.
But I like computer is good enough that I don't mind doing that.
Yeah.
So for them, it is the good part is this MSBA program that gives you a nice transition into the business world where you still can utilize your core competency in programming and your analytical thinking, but you're learning this new techniques or the new area where you can apply it to.
Yeah.
And that deals with people and deals with businesses. Whereas the MBA Business Analytics are for folks who have gone through the business education, but they want to do a little bit more technical, and they don't want to be in HR or they don't want to be in finance. They want to be, say, in information systems or business analytics. So they would not necessarily go into the nitty-gritty details of even know any programming language. They just need to be able to read and interpret the reports that this business analytics comes through and be able to define the problem. They should be able to see problems in HR, in accounting, in finance, marketing, and say, hey, this is a problem that can be best addressed through this business analytics tool that has been developed. And then they come to the MSBA people and say, hey, can you make me a dashboard that looks at this?
Yeah, I think data analyst, business analyst, BI engineers, these are like one of the most popular, like among international students at least.
Yes.
And they all want to be there. And like also because everything is moving towards cloud. We are generating millions and millions of data sets. And someone needs to first analyze the data, clean the data, analyze it, and then make sense of that data. Like, okay, should we run the ads because the data is performing, or should we not run the ads? That's just one of the examples. So if we can, what would be the job roles? Let's say if we want to divide MBA analytics and then MSBA, what would be the job roles students would get into?
So obviously a big role is consulting. The consulting firms, they're always going to be high demand for consultants. The more stuff that comes out, the more consultants that are needed. But there's a ton of jobs. As far as the corporate world goes, you either go into consulting, you go to corporate.
And the way I like to teach international students is, how do you make a decision on a university or a program is first figure out what you really want to do. So that's why I was asking what job roles can people land into. So because let's say if someone said, I want to be a product manager.
Right.
Then it's okay, does Chico State's MBA in analytics can make me a product manager or a business analyst or a data analyst? Once they have these roles figured out, then they can say yep, this program will teach me the skills to become those things. So that's why that's why I was asking the question is okay, what are the job roles that people can get into if they do MBA analytics or MSBA?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And one of the things that we used to always ask people is, well, what is a business analyst? What do you do? If you're a business analyst, what's my daily job as a business analyst? And nobody ever had a good answer to that one. It's well, help the business, we put you wherever we need you.
Each business is different.
Each business is different, So one of the things I highly recommend when students go to university is, one, find out what the industry partners are at that university. Who's coming to recruit? What companies are those? And then start attending the career fairs. You're going to be at school for 2 years, right? We have career fairs every semester, and we have multiple career fairs every semester. We just got done with 3 of them that all business and engineering students can go to. You go to all 3 of those things. Your first semester, you got 4 chances basically, right? First semester, you find out, hey, this company looks really cool. I'm talking to Chevron, I'm talking to IBM, I'm talking to HP, I'm talking to whoever, right? I like this company, I like this industry. Then you start asking them, what are the jobs? What jobs are you hiring for right now? And they'll say, here are the jobs. what skill set do you need? What courses should I take? And they'll tell you, they want to get a good student. And if you're talking to them, they're going to peg you right away going, here's somebody that's still got a long time to go, but they're already interested in talking to me. I'm going to keep track of that person. And as you go, you're going to find out more and more about different companies. I had a student that did an internship at Del Monte Foods, and she didn't want to do it, right? She, I told her, I said, hey, I've got this internship. I need a student to go do it. You got to go do it. And she was like, I don't want to work at Del Monte Foods, And she thought she was going to be packing tomatoes in a can. I know that's what she was thinking. And I said, no, you're going to go do this thing. It's for the summer, get over yourself, go do it. Well, it was 10 Market Street, San Francisco, in this old historic brick building. And she was like on the 5th floor with a view of the bay.
Oh, nice.
And it was just like, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was a great experience. Yeah. She comes back from it, and I said, well, what do you think about Del Monte? She goes, that's the only company I want to work for. I don't want to work for anybody but Del Monte. So you really have to keep an open mind all the way through your college career, because you never know who you're going to run into, and you're just going to go, that sounds fantastic. And I think that's one of the great things about coming to a university like Chico, is that those people show up. Yeah. And you can talk to them. They come to the classroom. You can talk to them. You can go to the career fairs. You can go to the career center, and talk to them and say, hey, I like your company. Yeah. How do I get in here? Yeah. And they'll say, well, here's how. Yeah. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And so based on what you guys have told me, and correct me if I'm wrong, what I think the roles that I'm going after roles, so people like nail it down on like, okay, would you agree that they can become product manager, project manager,
yes,
business analyst,
yes,
BI engineer, data analyst?
Data analyst, yes. Data scientist is different.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Data analyst,
data
yes.
Scientist probably.
Data scientist, a lot more math.
Masters in data science. For that, because they'll have to build models and all.
Yep.
Yeah, and then obviously that's like more tech side, but
Right.
then there's also marketing analyst,
Right.
product marketing manager.
Absolutely.
So all of those roles, pretty much people can get into either of these majors. Would you agree?
Yes.
Right. So I'll plug our website right here.
Yeah.
Because if you go to our website, it basically gives you the list of roles that MSBA students can look for. There are links to those, which are on employment sites, which obviously keeps getting updated every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
So we are only going to do this once, but for longevity, those links are there. And anybody that is interested can go and check what is the latest.
Yeah.
And that not only gives you the roles, it also gives you the average salaries and what is there basically the demand function.
Yeah.
So that gives a lot of information to the students, and regularly updated information, not information from 2010, but the information in 2025.
Yeah.
As to what the current situation is, and it will be different in 2026. There may be new roles coming in.
Yeah.
But one other thing I wanted to add to this one, especially with the roles, and especially since you're talking to the students who are trying to get into this, pretty young folks, I would think. The thing is, when Tom and I started our career, most people went through their entire life in just one job or one career. That is changing for the new generation. The forecast is that people who are 20, 30 would go through 3 or 4 different career paths before they retire.
Yeah.
So then it is, when you say which jobs, the question is, what is the first job? Not the entire job. It is not the career.
Right.
And then if it is the first job, then it is the question is, okay, I should get it. But when you're coming to the school, the issue is, the target should not be, where is my first job going to land me? But the target should be, how does it place me? What skill sets am I getting that place me in a comfortable position 20, 30 years down the road? Because when you're in school, you're building skills. Yes, getting a job is important, but it is after 5 years or 6 years, you don't want to come back to the university. Or 20 years, you don't want to come back to the university with your kid, right? So the skills you learn now ought to be lasting beyond your first job. And that's what, where Tom's program or the SAP is very critical, because, hey, this is one place where you learn SAP. And SAP is not going anywhere. They will keep making modification, and it will keep changing and creating new roles. But having done it at a place like Chico, which is one of the 5 centers, as you said, 5 global centers, hey, where else could you do it?
What are some of the companies that students, your former students, have gone to? What were some of those roles? Because I know, at least in my time, 10 years ago, Big Four was like a big thing.
Yep.
Is it still a thing?
So the Big Four don't recruit as often as they used to. It used to be that we would get at least 3 of them, know. And I remember one career fair, it's like, all 4 are here. This is a good day.
And if for people who don't know what Big Four is.
The Big Four consulting firms, Deloitte, KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Ernst Young, Big Four. At one point, Anderson Consulting was in there. Now we have, we've got Abeam Consulting, we've got Infosys Consulting. There's a whole bunch more consulting firms that are in there. Great firms, good-sized firms. So there's a lot of consulting projects still going on. So all of those companies still come in. And it's just a matter of when do they show up, And I tell them, you got to show up all the time, because and you have to look at it from an employer's perspective also. I was dealing with a company out of Memphis, Tennessee. They're not an SAP school program. I hire people. He goes, they are literally 3 blocks from me, and I can't hire students out of there. So you need to get them on SAP. He goes, I just hired 3 people. It cost me $100,000 to hire those 3 people. That's the headhunter fee for him. He goes, if I could go down the street and get 5 new graduates that know the same stuff,
interesting,
for nothing, right? So that's why a lot of companies come here, And I've had in the past, Bose out of Boston would fly all the way here to recruit.
Like Bose,
sound company, they would come all the way out here to recruit. Abeam Consulting, based out of Texas, they come here. Infosys, based out of China. Out of India. I'm sorry, India. I had great conversations with Tata Consultancy before COVID. We had everything all lined up. And it's just, a lot of that is just making sure you've got those connections. And what we're doing right now is we're working with ASUG, which is the America SAP User Group, and we're creating a new program called Campus Connect. And we're getting more of the companies to come to the campuses that teach SAP. And of course, Chico being one of them, so we'll have a lot more companies coming. So those companies, Chevron's, the PG&Es, the Gallo Wineries, Chancaro Wineries, Intel, Microsoft, Apple, all the consulting firms, Micron out of Boise, Owens, Illinois, glass manufacturer.
Workday was big.
Workday was huge. I think we probably have Chico State graduates at Workday. I'm going to say at least 300 graduates there, 100%. And I'm probably way underestimating it. Way underestimated. Huge at Workday. Workday's a competitor to SAP. Why are they hiring SAP students? Because we teach the process, right? We teach what a company like that needs to understand. So they gobble the students up.
I know my colleague, he got technical project manager in American Express.
Yep.
So that was another one.
Yeah.
That's cool. What are some of the courses that students will be taking if they do MSBA or MBA Analytics?
So in the MSBA, and for both of these programs, our curriculum is online on the website. And the students can go and check it. And I'm not going to go with the details of the courses, but I'll just talk about the general, what will be covered. And in the MSBA program, depending on the prerequisites that the students have, if they don't have certain prerequisites, they'll have to take it. So calculus and statistics are necessary for this program. And if a student is coming from just a pure business background and they haven't taken calculus in college, then that should be a prerequisite. Likewise, an engineer like yourself who is coming into this program has the stat, calculus, database done, but they may not have finance, management, marketing, the basic classes, and then they have to take those as prerequisites. But aside from the prerequisites, there are 6 core classes in the program. And the core classes build the basics, the foundation, which are database management, for example. We are going to put in neural networks in there. So how does the data flow? How do you model this? So those are almost teaching you the tools, right? So anything you want to build something, you need to know how to use the tools, what the tools are.
Yeah.
So
do we do Power BI, Tableau?
Yeah, so those Tableau and Power BI, those are included in the course material.
Okay.
So we don't teach a class on Tableau,
Right.
but we give you assignments that require you to do Tableau.
Yeah.
So that's true in general in all of our Chico State program.
Yeah.
Is we give you assignments where you will have to do, a project where your deliverable is based on Tableau or on Power BI. And we teach you those fundamental terms and show you hands-on. And that's how Chico, like this program especially, but most Chico State program, we are a very hands-on program. So we are more what we call experiential learning. So we don't necessarily focus as much as, say, the larger universities or research focused universities do on the theories. So we don't necessarily have to teach you the theories. We just need to teach you how do you actually do it. And we train you a lot on the operations. So like we have students in the room right now who are using the terminal, and they're actually doing things that you'll do at work and not on theory, right? So that's our distinctive feature compared to the other universities. You actually learn by doing.
It's a 2-year program?
It's depending on, again, the prerequisites. People can finish it in a year and a half, but you have to take all the prerequisites, then it's 2 years.
Gotcha. Okay. And then it's a total of how many credits?
So basically about 39 credits.
39.
So 13 classes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Without the prerequisites.
Okay. And 6 of them are the core. Rest can be electives?
The rest are electives, and that depends on whether you want to apply what you learned in marketing. Then you take classes in marketing. You want to learn what you this and apply it to finance. Then you have financial analytics and marketing analytics or accounting analytics or HR analytics. So then you specialize. Once you have the tools, then you learn a little bit more about the area where you want to apply it.
HR analytics. Nice. Love it. Going technical. So this is STEM program, both.
Both
Yes.
MSBA and the MBA in Business Analytics, both are STEM programs.
Okay. Are students allowed to do internships?
So that's as Tom mentioned about his student going to Del Monte.
Yeah.
Our thing is very basic, simple, right? Internships lead to job.
Yes.
And
And
if
mine also converted from my internship to full time.
internship is so
Yeah.
critical.
Yeah.
Because if you go to internship and you show up professionally and you show up punctually and do what is asked, you don't have to know everything when you're doing internship. Nobody expects you to know that. But the key thing with that internship is at least you get the opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah.
And when you ask questions, it basically tells the employer that you're willing to learn. And that's a very key thing for every job, because nobody hires an employee thinking, oh, these are Einsteins. Nobody hires future Einsteins and you'll have an answer to every problem. The people I want to hire are the people who know something and can learn fast and are then not afraid to ask, right? And for international students that are probably your viewers, the key thing is, yes, the CPT allows you to do the internship, and we run class, when you're doing an internship, there is a possibility that you can even earn college credits for it. So if you put it through that, and you have to talk to your international advisors, they will give you the details. But if you run it through the college credit, then it doesn't even eat up on your CPT visa because it is part of the curriculum.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
And if you look at the internship from the perspective of the company, it's a trial period, right? I get to try you for 3 months.
100%.
If I don't like you,
Yep.
then I cut you loose. No foul. If I like you, then I've got, and you like me, then heck, I've got my hooks in
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You
And-
know, it's you happened with
and
you.
now I'm on the opposite end where I'm hiring manager. I have a team of product managers, business analysts under me, and we also run the internship program. And our focus is not like this is like a fun program. They will do the real job,
Right.
and this is for us to figure out: do we want to invest more money to get them full time on, like
Yeah.
moving forward?
Yeah.
So it's 100% like a trial program, like you said.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right, to put it another way, and if you have viewers in South Asia, they will appreciate this one is, hey, getting a job without doing an internship is like getting into an arranged marriage without going through the dating process.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, love it. What about on-campus jobs? Now, I'm not talking about like all the on-campus jobs on Chico State because I know there are a bunch of them. But are there specific jobs like TAs, and are there RAs available in this department?
Yeah, we have TAs, GAs, graduate assistants. They'll have any jobs from grading to guest lecturing in the classroom, just helping out in the classroom, helping the professor out. We actually hire 3 students from the computer science major. We've got them building a new website for us.
Oh.
So they've been working the last year building a website.
That is a real experience.
It's real experience.
show in your
Yeah,
resume.
yeah. And along with that, I don't want to forget to say about the clubs and organizations that we have on campus, because those are huge. I mean, so let's say a student says, "Oh, I don't want to work. I don't have time to put 20 hours a week, and I really want to concentrate on my studies, but I do want to get a little extra. I want to get more than what's in the classroom," and that's why something like the SAP Club was involved. And there's more than the SAP Club. There's BISSI. There's finance. There's market. I mean, there's everything. Absolutely everything. I'll use the SAP Club because that's near and dear to my heart. Those students, they say, "Well, I don't know anything about this," and they'll come to me and say, "I want to know more about this." And I go, "Great, so do I, because I don't know about anything about it either.
Yeah.
You go find out. I'll get you all the resources you need. I'll get you on that system. You
Yeah.
can play with it. Let me know what you find out." So there's a lot of potential to do a lot more that students are interested in. The sales, the sales competition that we have on campus is huge. Entrepreneurship, finance. The finance group is amazing what they do. So there's a lot of really good organizations that they can join in and help out.
I know during my time there was like Wildcat Talks where they
Yep.
would invite like bunch of entrepreneurs and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was cool, and I know it's still happening, or if it's not Wildcat Talk, but there is an entrepreneurship club as well.
Yeah. We actually have coming up. Gosh, I just saw it on my calendar, but it's basically we have a lot of people from industry coming up, and it's guest lecturer in the classrooms. So I mean, these are high up in the company that are coming to talk. A lot of them are alumni, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And they'll talk all about their career, and a lot of them are pretty impressive. It's like okay.
Yeah.
So the entrepreneurship talk that you had, it's probably the same one. It has now grown so big that for the last 6 years, they've been hosting it in Sierra Nevada.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
At that conference center in Sierra Nevada with over 200 people.
Oh, amazing.
And so that has grown pretty
Yeah.
big. And
Yeah.
it's sometime in the early fall, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's entrepreneurs from in and around, and they have the competition, and they have the venture funds. So the entrepreneurs present ideas, and then, if some funds like it, then they go for it and so on. Whereas it has gotten much bigger.
Final question, and this is probably one of the biggest hesitation, and everyone asks me this, like, okay, Chico is in a small town, it's a small community versus Bay Area, which is like, big cities, and that's where the market is. It's a 3-hour drive. Like, how, will we get jobs? And that's the biggest concern. How do you combat that?
Well, so let me give you both perspectives, because I went to San Jose State, Bay Area, and it was such a big school, and there was people coming from everywhere, and I had great instructors, great classes, and I hated it because it was just, that's all there was. I mean, again, great. That's why I picked San Jose State. It was they had great for my undergrad. They had great material there, but I couldn't study there. And Chico gave me this opportunity of saying, well, gosh, here's a college town. I'm going to meet these people. I'm going to see these guys in the classroom. I'm going to see them after the classroom. I'm going to see them the next day. You know, it's more of a community. Everybody in the Bay Area knows about Chico, right? I mean, that's where they come. So the Bay Area businesses, they don't have a problem coming up here, right, to recruit. That's not a big deal for them. They're coming for good students, and that's what we offer. So as far as the job goes, not a problem. You know, the Bay Area is right there. Chico's a great place to learn, and we teach really good material, and we're well known for it. Again, we have, I'll toot the horn of the SAP Center again. We're known globally, and it's not that, you know, somebody else has heard of Chico. I mean, we're known globally as content producers.
And I'll add to that, as a student, you know, you are on a limited budget, and Chico provides a better lifestyle for the money. Your money goes a lot further in Chico, both in terms of rent and in terms of food, than it would go, say, in the Bay Area. And moreover, there are more things for a young person to do around Chico, because of the mountains here. You can go kayaking, you can go rafting, you can go skiing, and at a reasonable price compared to if you are in Bay Area, then you have to pay high top dollars even to get involved. And it's not that far. So if you want to splurge, hey, maybe once a semester or twice a semester, you can go down to the Bay Area. It's not that far.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy. But it is one thing to be visiting there to enjoy, as opposed to living there day in and day out, where the high cost of living is there because you don't have that much space. Yeah. And as Tom said, hey, people come to class and then they go into different directions, and you live about 80 miles away from each other. Whereas in Chico, you come to Chico, you are not staying more than 2 miles away from each other. So you meet with your classmates socially, not just in class, but also socially, and that forms that bonding, right? And at college level, you want that bonding. You want those experiences where you're bonding with your classmates, because you're most likely making lifelong friends.
And you bring up a good point. The other thing about that, though, of course, is the faculty. Your faculty are a lot easier to go to at Chico than they are at a big school, right? You can come up to the faculty. The faculty are all right here, you know? So you walk down the hall, you see them, you know, and you talk to them and you get to know them. I think that's another thing that students have to realize, the new students have to realize, is the faculty are dying to talk to you, you know? I mean, students kind of go, oh, I can't approach a faculty. No, absolutely approach your faculty members. You know, they're here to help you.
I mean, I'm still friends with all my faculty.
Yeah.
He attends one of the guest thing that I'm doing, like job hunting boot camp.
Yeah.
We grab a coffee last week. So
absolutely.
That is the relationship. I don't think people will get it in a bigger university.
Right.
Or a bigger town university.
Or even a bigger town university,
What is one advice would you give to incoming students if they saw this video, they are watching this, and they're like, okay, I'm planning to come to Chico. How can I prepare? What's the one advice would you give them?
Oh, I would say be comfortable. Explore. You know, don't come with a tunnel vision that says this is my end goal. You know, come with open mind and learn as much as you can, and let the wind kind of blow you in the right direction, because it'll blow. And
because, you know, like, hey, you're staying here for 2 years, you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not just going to
they've already made up from their mind and coming to Chico. What advice would you give them?
Oh, if they are coming to Chico, then the thing is, once you come to Chico, get involved. And I think Tom mentioned that earlier as well. Get involved in as many things as you possibly can. This is an experience for you.
Yeah.
And the opportunities exist.
Yeah.
But we are not your parents. We can't tell you, come here, sit here, eat this. You have to go and get them.
Yeah, 100%. Love it. Awesome. This was so amazing. I can't wait to do one more of these and probably invite you to some webinars with the students itself.
That'd be great.
That'll be fun to have them ask the questions as well. Today I bring their questions, but again, thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Fun.
You bet. Thank you.
Yep. Awesome.